Insider, you know they wiser. Ooh, this that new media company covering everything. I'm talking that news you ain't heard of, cause you know it's getting buried. Social justice, yeah, the stuff you need to know about. Fucking politics that the corporate news won't cover. You know they don't think that you could see under, but you can now, cause the people we cover, they may not be famous, but their stories should be heard. Yeah, every voice matters, we should rise and fall together. And that's why here at Progressive Insider, we down for whatever. All of us and none of us, take back your power. Don't ask, just demand it, cause you know it's right now.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday morning. It is now May 29th. We are almost out of spring. Can't you tell? Minneapolis is on fire and the entire world is collapsing around us. If you can still see this program this morning, that means that Trump's executive order was tossed in the bin and we still have social media. Yay! So this is a handy civic lesson for everyone else. We do not elect emperors with unlimited power. We elect presidents. So yay for you, President Trump, that you learned something today, and for the rest of the country that executive orders don't extend to private free market businesses. So welcome everyone. And today I'm delighted to have my lovely and talented co-host, Andy Kennedy. Good morning, Andy.
Oh, good. Good morning. I thought you were talking about somebody else.
No, never. Okay.
Oh, it's still 2020, right? Like we're still in the same year. Okay.
That's exactly right. And I just have to comment on how lovely your COVID hair is. It's just fantastic today.
Oh, let's just say that I'm going for a new look. And I was actually approached in the grocery store by someone that thought I was a celebrity. And I thought, oh, this is good. Who's the celebrity? And they said, yes, didn't you play Cousin It?
Okay, so you remind me, I was having this conversation with my husband last night, who, I don't know how he did it, but his COVID hair is like Judd Nelson from The Breakfast Club. He's got this really cool feather thing going. And I'm like, you do look just like Judd Nelson. He's like, well, no one's as cool as Judd Nelson. And I'm standing there looking in the mirror going, I have the Blair Witch. Absolutely. So we both have celebrity hair.
Nice.
So it's wonderful. Well, I'm glad to have you back. I'm sure that everybody who was watching got sick of me doing my rants without Andy, to keep it light and fluffy.
Much like our hair.
There you go. There you go. So besides all the chaos and the stories that we're working on, we've been a little slow with original content this week because everything kind of, it went to shit, basically.
Don't sugarcoat it, Carrie.
Yeah, well, let me mince words. So we actually have journalists in Minneapolis. Rome in Detroit is trying to work with them. Rome's account got shut down by Twitter because of the theory goes K-Hive went after him because they don't like what he had to say. So we're working on that issue. We have Don Ford working on the delegate reform issue. So anyone who's not aware, these lovely DNC members are trying to undo the super delegate reform that Don helped put into place in the first place. So there is a vote coming out amongst all DNC members, not delegates, but DNC members. And you know how they do it. They do a double negative reverse in the question. So he's trying to track down how the language actually reads so that he can advise sane members of the DNC, and there are a couple. We have some progressives on the DNC now. Advise them whether they should vote yes or no, depending on what crazy, insane language comes out on this vote. So all of these things are happening at the same time. We have the new Super Tuesday coming June 2nd, that's next week. So a lot of the candidates that we have already introduced people to on our network, their elections are happening next week. And these are mail-in ballots, or in the case of Texas, it just ruled with their Supreme Court, you have to you have to sacrifice yourself and go in person. That's the Texas way. So,
Yes, democracy.
there it is.
Worth every life it takes.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep it light because this whole week has just been god awful. So we are delighted today to welcome a very special guest. This is somebody that now we know that I am known for being difficult and snarky.
You're tough but fair.
No, no, I'm off the chart snarky. So when I saw a post by this person, the first thing that went to my head was I almost snorted my coffee when I read it. But the first thing I thought was, okay, I don't know who this is, but I want you to come sit by me because this is way too much fun. So I want everyone to welcome today Meg Slay. So Meg, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Awesome.
Meg, you are the queen of snark and a grand ambassador. What is it? A meme lord. We've never had a meme lord. It's royalty on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, it's funny when I first started like making all these memes, my mom was like, "You're wasting your time," but like, look at where I am now.
Oh, well, here's a segment. Andy and I will do a promo for you. Mom, leave her alone. She's doing good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, you're supposed to encourage your children, for gosh sake.
Well, she's a boomer, so she doesn't really get it sometimes. She's like, "Wait, what? That's funny." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is funny. Get with the times, Mom."
And so this is something that Andy and I have talked about a little bit, and what we try to convey here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm doing a story that is so horrific, and writing about it, I was literally in tears watching the videos and doing the research. So what do? You either give up and give in, or you learn to have a sense of humor about it. So do you think that the work that you're doing is helping people kind of cope with these horrific things we're dealing with?
I would hope so. I mean, when like I try to bring attention to like an issue that's going on, like for me, it's like political memes or like just modern day political cartoons. And so like, it's a nice way to like get a story out, like in a brief image, you know, and just like have people digest it and everything. And then there's some people that will like go and look more into the issue that they might have not been aware of it before until they saw that meme. So like, it's one way to just like get information out, but also kind of like put a light spin on it. So it's easier to digest sometimes. Because I think that our world is so crazy and there is so much like toxicity. So, you know, I'm just trying to see some humor in life.
I think it takes a special talent to be snarky and funny, because a lot of people can try and it just comes off mean, like mean girl commentary.
Yeah, I mean, I try to attack the issues and not the person. And I think that that's like the like make or break for it, because I mean, for example, like Nancy Pelosi with that, like, oh, like Donald Trump's obese. And it's like, that's like a mean girl thing. Like when you're attacking somebody's like physical characteristics. And I mean, look at all of the policies he's passed and like, you know, the military budget and this and that and everything else. And like, why isn't she attacking him on those issues? You know, and it's just like, we need to attack people on like the ways that they mess up, and rather than like their appearances, you know. And I think that that's like what the difference is, you know, whether it's funny or not.
No, that totally makes sense. So I pulled one down, and this is the one that caught my attention. Andy, I think this is the one that you really like too. So I'm just gonna put this up there. I'm not gonna I'll see if I can share it this way and let the audience decide. So here's the meme. So for those of you who might be listening instead of watching, this is Meg that caught my attention. She said, "I cannot believe that Joe Biden is vetting Amy Klobuchar for VP when he has the option of choosing a qualified, well-known progressive woman of color, Elizabeth Warren."
Do not drink coffee when reading this.
No, this is the one that I read that I was, because, you know, Andy and I were talking about it beforehand, and we're like, neither one of us knew where it was going. It was just seemed like this nice kind of, and then you threw in a zinger. And you're absolutely, so what was the inspiration there that just kind of came to you?
Yeah, it did. It just like really came to me because it's like, I think like all of us were really shocked that like Amy was being vetted, and we were just like, wow, like this is just like, I mean, it's like really insane because he had been talking, oh yeah, I'm going to pick like a woman for VP. And then a lot of people were thinking like, oh, he's going to pick like a woman of color. And then all of a sudden you get like Amy Klobuchar, and it's like, what? And then like, I guess like for me, I was like thinking, oh, women of color. And then I was thinking of Elizabeth Warren and how there was like that whole history with her identifying as like a Native American. And I was like, I need to make a joke about this. And I didn't think it was going to take off as much as it did, to be honest, but it just like really blew up. And what kind of like I thought was so funny is that I had a lot of friends who were just like, wait, are you being serious or sarcastic? I was like, do you guys even know me?
Do you ever remember me saying something serious?
Oh yeah. No, well, I mean, like for me, I was just like, come on, like, you know, like Elizabeth Warren, like the whole way that she approached this election and everything, and just like, I mean, I've had friends that were just like, she could have honestly gone to like the tribe that she claimed to be from or whatever, and like been like, hey, I messed up, like how do I correct this? And it's like she never did that. And like also when she was identifying as a Native American, she never went to Standing Rock. Like what? You know? So it's just like
No, you're right. And in fact, on our network, we've documented how awful she was in the service to Native Americans. Like there were two that drove like 5,000 miles. It was an extreme distance in a crappy car, got there, and she made them wait for like 2 or 3 days before she'd even see them. And just, yeah, no.
I didn't even know that. That's awful.
Yeah, it's it was documented in a Native American newspaper, and it was online. That's how we found it. So
now, can I interject why I think it's A.V. Klobuchar? Okay, this is the thinking, right? Joe Biden in his 50s rugged, individualistic, tough guy routine, fisticuffs, right? I can take Trump. I'm pretty sure I can take Trump. Now, I have to choose a woman that can take Pence. So you're like, Liz Warren? No, she's not. He'll kick her.
Honestly, wait, can we just talk about like that VP debate and how amazing it would be? Because I guess like Mike Pence is super awkward around women unless it's like his wife.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Mother.
Do you imagine if, that's the most disappointing thing about Bernie not being the nominee is Nina Turner versus Pence in a debate.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
That would be a murder.
That would be like the ripping of multiple assholes.
Yeah. Thanks for the visual, Andy.
No problem. Just wanted to make sure you were on the same page.
Okay, so there's another one that I absolutely love, and there's two, and I don't know if these are yours or you just curated these, but I think they're fabulous because I myself have been in conversation with this particular individual, highlighting I just call him a straight up asshole and ridiculous. So I saw these posts, I think it was on your Facebook page, on the Meg Slave Facebook page. So I wanted to share this next one. Let's see if I can do that. Okay. Oh, come on. No, not this one. This one.
Yes.
So it's comparing Elon Musk to Karen.
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends, he runs like the meme industrial complex, I think is what his page name is. The logo's like at the bottom center. And so he actually will pop out a few of those, you know, every week and everything. And I mean, it was just so funny, especially with the way that they spelled Karen, because it's kind of a play on his like son's name.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's just beautiful. There's another one in here too. Let me think. Where did it go? All right. Now it doesn't want to work for me, but there was another one, and I think it was also by your friend that let me see if I can find it. Stupid technology.
I know. It happens.
Here it is. Okay. So this one is the "May I speak to your manager" version.
Yeah, I don't know where like I got that one, to be honest. But yeah, no, I don't know. So this is kind of the backstory. So I'm from California, and Elon Musk, I guess, like decided that he was going to move Tesla out of California and move it to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And he like went on this like tweet storm, basically having a fit. And then it was so beautiful because then like one of our assembly women, she was like, F Elon Musk. And like on Twitter, and everyone was so outraged. And it's like, wait, okay, we're gonna be mad at like an assembly person for like basically giving an opinion about like somebody that wants to move like their business and cause like thousands of families to like, you know, have like less income, like a job loss.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be mad at like Elon for that. Like, I mean, that's absurd. Like, I mean, this guy has like a lot of money. And like, I mean, we're always giving subsidies, I guess, to like Tesla. And it just like doesn't make sense that like we're like kind of pampering him and like giving him all these benefits, but he's not like, you know. So I just like think he's definitely kind of channeling his inner Karen. And what I think is so funny actually is that there's actually a post by him where he's like, oh yeah, I'm a socialist. And I'm like,
no, he's not.
oh no. Well, and then it's funny because Grimes, his girlfriend, endorsed Bernie Sanders. And I'm like thinking, Grimes, you need to talk to your man. Like you need to teach him the way.
Wow. Now this no, I don't want to get into his personal life because that's just
it's a different podcast.
that's we need to bring the therapist back
that's maybe a Wednesday. That's definitely not a Friday podcast.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I heard that they're getting back to go up back in space because he wants the car back.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, things are not going well for Tesla right now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a recall.
Well, no, I thought it was so embarrassing when they were doing that truck and they were throwing the like balls at it, like being like, oh, look at it, it's indestructible. And then it just shattered.
Oh, absolutely. Well, even his own employees, because during this rant where he's trying to open back up, his employees are quoted. Now, they don't want to be named because obviously there'll be retaliation, but
yeah,
they were like, well, we actually make more money on unemployment because we're getting, we don't have to pay all of these extras, and we're getting our salary plus California's giving us a little extra. No, we're safer at home. Whereas Elon's like, no, they want to work. So
No, we don't.
yeah, exactly. So so being a meme lord must mean some super popularity for you, right? I mean, we were lucky enough to get you to come on our humble little show with our tens of viewers. So what does this look like for you? What do you do in all of your spare time? Are you there, with Photoshop making your memes, or how does this work?
So I definitely have like a couple apps that I use that'll like, they have the format and then all you need to do is like input the snark essentially. But for me, it's like just going on Twitter and just kind of being like, oh, here's a trending topic. Because what's actually kind of crazy, and this is like actually, shows the sad state of like our news and our journalism is back in 2016 when the DNC leaks happened. I never heard like a major news network ever talk about it. And, but it was being covered on Twitter, like in the trending topic. So like, that's where I usually get my news a lot, unfortunately, which sounds like so sad and kind of dumb because it's like, who gets their news from Twitter? But I mean, like, that's when you see like all those trends and like, it's like you're the first one to know. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a meme out of that. And then I share it on my page. And then that's how like the news kind of gets out there.
Well, I think you're right, though. I mean, because I have noticed with the amount of work that I do and working in a digital space,
Yeah.
I have found that I myself have a little bit of ADD, right?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have that. Yeah.
So having a meme is something that will catch my attention. Obviously, this is how we found you, but having that nice graphic to catch your attention, and then I could make a decision based on, is this something that I want to move forward with, read more about. So yeah, I think it is a medium to reach people. Absolutely.
Oh, well, yeah, because it's just like easy to digest, I think too. It's like people are always on the go. They're always so much in a rush. And so if they can see something like really quick that like grabs their attention, then they pick up that information. And then like I said earlier, it's like they can choose to like look into it more, or they can just kind of like have it, just as a random fact inside their head.
Nice. So, okay. So before we actually got started this morning, we were talking a little bit about personal issues.
Yeah.
And if your new celebrity has helped you at all with, do people recognize you at the grocery store?
Oh, no, nothing like that. No, I'm kind of like anonymous, honestly.
Got it. So then we were starting to talk about dating life, because we promised you if you came on the show, we would be slightly better than a bad Tinder date. And I think so far we're doing okay.
Oh yeah, you guys are painless. It's a pleasure.
Oh, wow. That's the best compliment we've ever gotten.
But yeah, for bad Tinder dates, I think like the one that's like my number one, I've had a couple. So the number one was when I was talking to a guy about the 2016 election, and he was saying, oh yeah, I would have loved to vote for Bernie. And I was thinking, oh, like, well, why didn't you? Were you overseas, like working, or what were you doing? He's like, oh, I'm a felon. So,
did he share his crime with you?
Yeah, actually. And it was like, I mean, I was kind of like, oh, okay, but I guess like he was transporting like a lot of marijuana somewhere in like, the Midwest or something where it's like super illegal to do that. So he spent like a year or two in jail. So
but he's seen the country and has gotten to know the Midwest a little bit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's marijuana. Like, that's not so bad. Like, it's like.
So I have this girlfriend who she is like a moth to bad men. And
yeah.
To the point where we were like, okay, and I'm going to change her name to Susie, but Susie knows who I'm talking about. We took her out to a bar, and we were kind of pointing out to her that you have really bad selection here. You just, maybe you let us pick somebody for you. And, we scanned the room, and there's a very nice gentleman wearing khaki pants and a button-down shirt, maybe a little vanilla-ish, but gotta be way better than the boyfriend you just broke up with for cheating on you with the hooker. But I mean, maybe marginally better. And no, she didn't want that one. She didn't want that one. So we're like, ugh, okay, what? She picks out the greasiest guy, dirty jeans. I'm like, no. She's like, no, I'm gonna go talk to him.
Oh God.
She disappeared for a little while, comes back, and she says, I think I'm gonna go out with him. I'm like, okay, on one condition, I get his driver's license. I want to see who this is. So she talks him into it, comes back with the driver's license, and I start running a mini background check. Just Google. I'm like, well, Sally, he's been a convicted pedophile twice.
Well, she should have known when she looked at his name and it was Buzzsaw. You know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I actually have like a very, it's like a little bit different, the story, but it's kind of similar. Actually, like about a year ago, I was working at my local courthouse as a court clerk. And, you know, prior to this, I had matched with this one guy on Bumble, and then we stopped talking, you know, it just kind of like fell apart and everything. Well, while I'm at work, I see this guy come up to, you know, the front desk, and he needs some cases and stuff. And I was like, God, he looks so familiar. And I was like, I was in the middle of training. So I have like my trainer being like, oh, this is how you do this and that, Meg, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. And so, but I'm like thinking like, I don't know if I can focus, because like, I think that that's the guy that I matched with on Bumble, like in the criminal like business office at the courthouse. And so like one of the other clerks started taking care of like his cases. He had like 3 or 4 different like DUI cases, like stacks. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe. And I was like, you know, I'm so glad that I actually like didn't pursue anything with him. And like, though, like that just fell apart. But then this is the thing, he recognized me, and then he started to try to like talk to me again. And I was like, no.
No, it's not gonna happen, but thank you.
You must be talking about my twin sister.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
So you're talking about Maggie, not me.
Right. So what are your next steps from here? You've got the meme lord thing going. You've got social media on lock. Amazing, stellar content. What's next?
Well, one of my friends, Sarah, has been saying he's horrible. So like, why don't you start a talk show and like start giving your opinion? I was like, well, I mean, I don't like the comparison between Tommy, but like, that sounds like a good idea, you know? So like, I think that that would probably be my next, like, you know, pursuit, is just to try to make online content, like videos and things like that. Just to kind of talk about like what's going on in the world. Because like we've been talking about, there is a lot going on that needs to be covered, and it's not.
That's absolutely right. Especially from, everybody's so serious.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of segments here we had Sarah, who's a therapist, Dominique, who's a therapist, and people talking about the importance of self-care. So humor and being able to laugh at things really comes into play with that. And
oh yeah. Well, and I think too, it's like, it's really, I think with the most interesting thing is about like doing memes and trying to make humor is, a lot of people like are just like, that's offensive. And it's like, okay, like why? And it's a lot of people that just like kind of want to kill the vibe, and like they're just being outraged to be outraged. And it's like, you know, like everyone needs to laugh, and this isn't like offending like a lot of people, you know, like it's just like you and everything. But I think that like, it's kind of like with humor, it's like, you know, it's always on that like cusp. Like, it's like, it could be offensive, but it probably isn't, you know, and it's just kind of like that fine line and everything, and taking risks. And I think that just kind of comes with comedy. But I think that like a lot of people, like, we just need to laugh at like how absurd like everything is right now. Like we have, oh, this is actually a post that I think you guys would find funny, is there was this one guy that was saying, oh yeah, Bernie bro, like, I would like to have like a Pepsi, and then the waitress is like, oh, we only have Coke. And then like the Bernie bro is like, oh, well then I'll take 4 more years of Trump, you know? And it was like a play on like how we're like doing this, like, oh, well, if I can't have this, then I'm going to get 4 years Trump. And then I was like, okay, so just to let you know, like, if we're going to say Trump is anything, he's Orange Fanta, first of all. And
Right.
not only that, right? And I was
Yes.
like, not only that, but then Orange Fanta is, guess what? Made by Coca-Cola Company, which makes Coke also. So it's the same company making the same product, or like, you know, similar product. And so it's just like, you know, that whole cycle is just what kind of like, this is a like little off topic but related, is like with this current election, one of my friends was saying, you know, it's not about the red versus blue, because there's like elites on either side of the aisle. It's all about the green, because like these people are really just like wanting to keep their money concentrated with them rather than like spreading the wealth among the people. And it really is like a class warfare thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And I don't know why.
I think because we get comfortable in it, and this is where, to your point about having a meme or a cartoon that is a little bit edgy and maybe somewhat offensive, that's funny. That is absolutely funny. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think that, you know, I'm actually one of the moderators on Unofficial DNC, which is like another meme page. And they made this funny meme because I guess there was this guy named Steve. I don't know like what his job title is or anything, but his wife's name is Karen. He's like, can we stop making fun of Karens? Like my wife is a nice lady. And it was just like, no, like we're not, like we're still gonna make jokes, you know, like because there are, I mean, it's a very much a stereotype, and we're gonna like kind of like make fun of it because like we need to like really break this behavior and this pattern, you know.
And now we're gonna make fun of Steve's.
Yeah, right.
Didn't we already?
We got like Becky, we have like Karens, we have Susans.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is something that, okay, so Amy Cooper that we were talking about on Wednesday, our lovely Karen from New York, making up all of these names for these really horrible people that are exhibiting terrible behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You just get exhausted of being outraged, so you gotta have fun with it.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's actually a really great point, because I think the last 2 weeks, like we've had a lot of like violence on like Black men and everything, just with like the lynching that happened, and then like just with George Floyd. I mean, there's like so much like, you know, just awful things that are happening, you know, and it's really hard to process, and it's kind of, you feel like hopeless because you're just like, how do I change this? Because this is just, it's systematic, you know, it's not going to be an overnight thing. And it's like people get burnt out, and like we just need to find ways to like, you know, kind of like lighten our spirits, and I think that humor does do that. But like I said, it's a balancing act, because, you know, with such heavy topics, you don't want to you know, go too far.
Yeah, well, I would say making fun of fascists, you can't really go too far.
Oh yeah, no, that's like fair game and everything. Yeah, absolutely. So we have actually gone over an hour now, so this is a fun conversation. So if you don't mind, we're gonna steal some more memes from your Facebook page. Oh, go for it.
And fill them in for this particular segment so that everybody can enjoy it. And we'll put some links so that people can cross over to your Twitter, your Facebook, and then any other sites that you want us to include. We're more than happy to do that for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you for coming on. Andy, any last comments, snide remarks?
No, the roller rink has emptied. I'm here by myself.
Okay. Well, you sat through it.
Woo-hoo!
Andy.
Woo. Okay, we're back.
So your chiropractor is doing wonders for you. Obviously.
Yes. Now if my psychiatrist could do something for me.
There's that. Hope springs eternal. But for all of us here on Progressive Insider, thank you for watching Hair of the Dog. Enjoy your weekend, and Oh, stay safe, everybody in Minneapolis. Our hearts are with you, and be strong. Stay for the justice. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
All right.
This is Progressive Insider.
Yeah. Progressive Insider, you know they wiser. Ooh, this that new media company covering everything. I'm talking that news you ain't heard of, cause you know it's getting buried. Social justice.